This is Radio Taiwan International. Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Friday, May 1st. King Mswati III's special envoy says that President Lai Ching-te must visit Eswatini in the future. Taiwan should pass the defense budget quickly to signal resolve, according to a former U.S. official. And China-linked networks are embedding propaganda in Taiwan's social media pages. But first, today's top story. President Lai Ching-te met with Special Envoy Thulasile Dadla of Eswatini on Thursday, where Dadla underscored the closeness of Taiwan-Eswatini relations. The meeting was also attended by Foreign Minister Lin Chia-lung, who noted that Dadla's comments further reflected the ironclad friendship between the two countries he saw during his visit to the country last month. The meeting was a mirror of last week, when Lin visited Eswatini as President Lai's special envoy to personally congratulate King Mswati III. Lin said Dadla's visit now as the King's special envoy sends a strong message of friendship despite the physical distance between the two countries. The president's trip to Eswatini, Taiwan's only African ally, was cancelled last month after 3 countries revoked overflight permissions allegedly under pressure from China the day before his departure. In the meeting, President Lai again emphasized that Taiwan is a sovereign nation with the right to engage with other countries of the world. Dadla stressed that shortly after the presidential office announced its change of plans, King Mswati III urged her to visit Taiwan to deliver a message and express thanks for sending Lai. She said Lin's presence at the celebrations made a difference, although King Mswati III still hopes that Lai will visit one day. She said, quote, "You must come and visit the kingdom to show the world that the airspace is free, the airspace is independent, and that Africa as a whole believes and has got a lot of confidence in international law," end quote. U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for East Asia Heino Klink speaks on Taiwan's special defense budget. Here's RTI reporter James Thompson with the story.
Taiwan should pass defense budget quickly to signal resolve, says former U.S. official. Taiwan should pass its special defense budget prior to the U.S. president's planned trip to China later this month to demonstrate commitment to its own defense, according to a former U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for East Asia, Heino Klink. The continued delay in passing a proposed 8-year $40 billion defense spending bill currently stalled in Taiwan's opposition-led legislature could, he warned, have a negative impact on American support. Klink told reporters at a small media gathering in Taipei on Thursday, April 30th, that Taiwan faces an existential threat from China that has become bigger in recent years. The former U.S. official, who oversaw U.S. defense policy in the East Asia region from August 2019 to January 2021, said, "I don't think Taiwan has the luxury of time." Klink said Taiwan has limited influence over relations between Washington and Beijing. By not passing the budget prior to President Trump's visit to China, it is basically abdicating what little agency it has, he said. The budgets need to be passed prior to the U.S. president going to China, he added. Defense spending, Klink said, enhances deterrence and will also signal to the Chinese that if they want to use force against Taiwan, Taiwan will not be an easy target. There should not be any partisanship in national defense, he said. Klink said Taiwan should prioritize integrated air and missile defense systems, stockpile munitions, and expand domestic defense production, which he said would also be an investment in Taiwan's own economy. He noted that delays in arms deliveries from the US are a problem, but that reforms are underway. This is James Thompson with Radio Taiwan International, reporting in Taipei.
An RSF investigation finds China-linked networks using lifestyle Facebook pages in Taiwan to insert pro-Beijing narratives.
A new investigation by Reporters Without Borders has found that China-linked digital marketing networks are embedding political messaging inside seemingly apolitical social media content targeting Taiwan. According to the report, Facebook pages focused on health, lifestyle, and inspirational content has been used to quietly insert narratives aligned with Beijing's positions, forming a type of cognitive warfare that is difficult to detect. According to Central News Agency, one such page, called 50 Plus Healthy Life, typically shared wellness advice but took a sudden turn following the Iran conflict in March. It published a post arguing that Tehran did not need to defeat Washington militarily, but only, quote, make the United States feel pain, unquote. a framing consistent with Chinese state media narratives. The post was later removed. Investigators say the China-based Wubianji group controlled hundreds of similar pages. Their strategy involved building large audiences with non-political content, then inserting political messaging during key events before reverting to lifestyle posts, making the influence activity harder to trace. The pattern became more visible during Taiwan's 2024 presidential election. In one case, a viral threat post in 2025 falsely claimed a child collapsed in Taipei's metro system. Researchers later traced the footage to Hangzhou, China, and linked the account to the same network. Analysts warn these operations are designed less to persuade than to erode trust, gradually fostering the perception that democracy leads to disorder. Experts also say embedding political narrative into everyday content makes such campaigns more subtle, scalable, and harder to counter. Joey Cho for RTI News.
Roughly 7,000 people took to the streets in Taipei and Kaohsiung on May 1st, Taiwan's Labor Day, in an event organized by Labor Day 51, China Steel Corporation, the Petroleum Corporation, and other labor unions. The alliance put forward 8 major demands, notably increasing the pension contribution rate to 12%, bumping up the teaching staff contribution rate, and requiring comprehensive coverage of labor insurance to include small institutions, domestic workers, and migrant workers, among other points. Chinese National Federation of Industry's chairman, Dai Guorong, pointed out that the global labor market is facing industrial transformation and demographic structural changes due to factors such as net zero transformation or the development of AI. He said that Taiwan should establish a more complete retirement system to ensure the economic security of workers after retirement and to help them avoid falling into old age poverty. Dai explained that unemployed workers are economically disadvantaged groups and must rely on severance pay to maintain family livelihoods, and the upper limit of severance pay should be increased. On the other hand, he added that the government should establish countermeasures to the problems of low wages for young people and stagnant wages for the middle class. Dai said he believes establishing a labor management government dialogue mechanism with the Labor Ministry will help promote reforms. Korean Airlines will impose higher surcharges nearly twice that of last month, beginning May 1st, as the conflict in the Middle East continues to affect fuel prices. In addition to raising fares, some airlines are reducing low-profit routes to help shoulder rising fuel costs. Korean Airlines surcharges are based on the mean of Platts Singapore, or MOPS, and adjusted according to a government-monitored system. According to this system, the May surcharges jumped from mid-tier, level 18, to the top, level 33, making it the steepest one-month change since the system was adopted in 2016. Starting this month, Korean Air, the country's largest commercial airline, will increase its surcharge for one-way tickets to nearly 1.8 to 1.9 times what it was in April. That's a maximum increase of nearly $175 according to local reporting. Other airlines are following suit, with Asiana Airlines International one-way fuel surcharges rising to nearly double that of last month. Reporting indicates that these prices are still not enough to fully offset airlines' fuel cost pressures. One analysis by a low-cost carrier shows that while fuel costs have increased by 130% compared to the last year, only half of this is covered by rising surcharges. Major airlines are also attempting to cut costs by reducing operations on low-income routes. Asiana Airlines will reduce service to 18 flights, up from 8, while another airline, Jin Air, has had to cancel a total of 131 flights over 14 routes in April and May. The National Museum of History in Taipei has announced the upcoming Egyptian Mummies Journey into Immortality exhibit opening in June, featuring relics on loan from the National Archaeological Museum of Florence. Open from June 18th to September 28th, the public can experience, quote, the wisdom and beliefs behind the ancient Egyptians' pursuit of eternal life, end quote. On display will be authentic mummies and funerary artifacts, including painted sarcophagi, amulets, stelae, and other relics that can be traced back to the Egyptology craze that started in Europe in the 19th century. The exhibit not only presents the ancient civilization itself, but also allows the audience to see how Egyptology gradually developed in Europe. Exhibition team researcher Lin Chia-lung says that unlike Jime Museum's current Pharaoh, King of Egypt exhibit, the National Museum helps the audience understand how ordinary people in ancient Egypt use rituals and artifacts to create a path to the afterlife. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Michelle Chang. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.